CMRU.ca News.
Hello, Malwa University. This is Sureva Alieva and CMRU.ca News. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm Jasmine Vicarious, and in today's news, we look at Mount Royal University's students and how they can look forward to getting help with their taxes, as well as Trevor Chambers increases the snow removal budget and his story on that. And we got our weekend weather forecast as well.
But first, the Students Association of Mount Royal University is hosting a free tax clinic on campus until the end of the month. The Canadian Revenue Agency trained the volunteers. They are ready to help in the Yellow Room upstairs in Wiccan House. CRA volunteers are helping low-income students file their taxes. Only Mount Royal students who meet a certain criteria are able to use this service. Students with an income of less than $30,000, single parents with an income of less than $35,000, and couples with a joint income of less than $40,000 are able to use the service. This is the second year CMRU has offered this service. CMRU will be offering a tax clinic every year.
70 employers were on campus this week helping students find jobs. They are part of the annual Career Recruitment Fair. Students got the chance to spend the day networking with employers, collecting information about future careers and job opportunities. The Recruitment Fair is one of the largest events that Career Services organizes. Over 2,400 students went to the Career Fair.
It's really great to come and connect with recruiters, because recruiters can tell you what their companies are offering. They can also tell you what is the best strategy to potentially get in with that organization, to learn about jobs and especially careers. So for a lot of students, it's not about finding a job, it's about finding a career.
The Career Fair happens twice a year on Main Street at MRU.
The Alberta College of Art and Design is now a university. Jamin Jin found out why it's important for a college to become a university.
Thanks, Reva. ACAD has been issuing degrees in fine art since 1995. The title of university makes the institution's degrees more valuable. Even though ACAD was called a college, they actually have degrees and even a master's program on offer. Colleges typically only offer 2-year diplomas. ACAD students should find that their degrees are worth more and their classes more transferable to other post-secondaries because it's a university. Second-year fiber major Sophia Langle is thrilled with the change and its impact on the students and faculty.
Glad that ACAD's finally getting the recognition I think it deserves, because there's a lot of really hardworking people here and excellent professors, and so I just think that this kind of recognition will really help kind of put a spring back in ACAD's step.
The new name for ACAD is yet to be announced, but obviously it will not keep college in its name. Back to you, Sureva.
Thanks, Jamin. The plan to stop outside drivers from cutting through Mount Royal University seems to be working, but the roadblocks on Mount Royal Circle have not been liked by some people. One group of students decided to create a petition to remove the roadblocks, but have been quiet since December. And there's no more information about these closures. Caitlin White finds out what the plan is for the roadblocks.
The only part of Mount Royal University's ring road that hasn't had any snow plowed is in between the 2 cement blockades. These roadblocks were the driving force behind an online student petition. The group of students said that the closures are an inconvenience and a safety risk because of an increased EMS response time. The petition received over 1,300 signatures, but nothing happened. Instead, the group met with MRU representatives, including Jonathan Anderson, to hear the university's reasonings.
We really emphasize that so much of this comes from the 80% of traffic coming from the external community.
Anderson also says that there is a lot of debate on these closures.
The amount of thought that went into this really wasn't a snap decision.
The group posted an update in December saying MRU administration informed us that the solution that they came up with, although it may not be ideal, is the only monetary feasible option at this time. The students also say, "We believe that they have the best interest of all parties involved."
The petition has not been updated since the MRU students met with the MRU representatives, but when we asked a few students on campus what they would like to see with the roadblocks, there were some mixed reviews.
To be removed,
yeah,
I guess.
An outdoor hockey rink.
I think it might be necessary because it does cut the traffic down in the area.
Anderson was unable to comment on any current plans for the roadblocks, but he says road changes will be coming to MRU as the Curry Barracks community grows. Caitlin White, CMRU.ca News.
Since the legalization of recreational cannabis across Canada is in just a few short months, Cannabis Canada came to Calgary to educate consumers and producers alike. Cannabis Canada first annual National Educational Conference and Business Opportunity Forum came to Calgary over the weekend, filling the TELUS Convention Centre to nearly capacity on both days. Hannah Tucker joins us now. What can you tell us about the event, Hannah?
Thanks, guys. So the Cannabis Forum is a 2-day-long event. The first day mainly focusing on businesses and potential producers, and the second day mainly focusing on the consumers. The convention floor was filled with vendors working both in legal production and distribution of cannabis. There was a series of panels held throughout the event featuring topics ranging from the legislators surrounding the legalization of cannabis to the science behind how it works. One of the topics presented by nearly every speaker at the event was health and safety in the workplace once cannabis is legal. The policies will vary from workplace to workplace, starting with the guidelines presented by Occupational Health and Safety and building on from there. Because of how recent the medical cannabis is and how soon the legalization of recreational cannabis is set to follow, it's being treated on a case-by-case basis. High-risk jobs such as manual labor and transportation, the employers have the right to request to be made aware of any prescriptions which will affect the liability of the job. Cannabis will be no different. So there are two main components to cannabis, THC and CBD. THC gives you the medical benefits with the high, and CBD gives you the medical benefits without the high. Both components will play major factors in any health and safety ruling. Task now for health and safety boards across Canada is keeping employers and employees safe in the workplace. And back to you, Jasmine.
Hannah. Thank you. That's interesting. So Chris Campbell joins us now with sports. Chris, how was the Cougars' season this year?
Well, some teams saw success and others did not, starting with the Mount Royal men's hockey team. They lost the second round of playoffs to U of A. They finished 6th in the league with a 12-14-2 record. Jesse Lees led the team in points at 26. The Mount Royal women's team lost in the first round of playoffs to UBC. They finished in the same place as the boys with 6th in the league. Rachel Pitts led the team in points at 11. Switching to volleyball, the Cougars women's team had a difficult loss in the first round to the UFC Dinos. They finished the record of 12-12. The men's volleyball team didn't make playoffs this year, finishing 10th in the league. Neither the men's or women's basketball team made playoffs this year. The women's were looking to win 4 games and tie their most games won record. The women actually finished second last in the standings with a 1-19 record, while the men finished 13th in the standings with an 8-12 record. Looking at soccer now, the men's and women's team both lost in the first round of playoffs back in October. The Cougars will be holding the annual Cougars Award Night after this month to celebrate the athletes and their hard work. And that's all for the Cougars season's recap.
Thank you, Chris. Calgary received one of its biggest dumps of snow in recent years this winter, and Mount Royal University grounds team has increased their budget in response to the demand of snow removal. They had to spend an extra $40,000 to clear all the snow, but even though the grounds team worked hard, not everyone was pleased with the snow removal. Trevor Chambers has more on the story.
Walking around Mount Royal University, it would be hard to miss the grounds team removing the large amounts of snow. There are only 11 grounds employees, and for such a large campus, grounds manager Shane Williams has to make sure that the priority areas are dealt with first.
If it is continuously snowing, we stick to priority 1 and 2 routes. Roadways, sidewalks, main entrances.
Students living in East Residence have been complaining about the snow that's being dumped in this closed road behind me, stating that their shortcut to get to class has now been blocked. When asked, Williams had this to say.
Quite honestly, we did need an area to haul snow to. There is maintained sidewalks, and we ask people to use the maintained sidewalks.
Despite the complaints, Williams is really proud of the hard work his team has been doing.
I'm always amazed at how dedicated our staff is. To come in on weekends, to come in early. They change their schedules to make it happen. I'm always impressed with our staff. You know, they do what needs to be done. They don't complain. They go out when it's minus 30, work 7-8 hours on a weekend, and then come back in the next day.
On average, the grounds team will put in 150 hours of overtime. So far this year, they have put in 450 hours. Trevor Chambers, CMRU.ca News.
Now we will turn to Mariah Bouvier, who is outside for the weather.
Thank you, Sareva. If you're tired of the cold, then I have some good news for you. We are looking at highs in the pluses all weekend long in Calgary, which means it's time to hopefully ditch those winter jackets. In Vancouver, it is +5. Calgary is sitting right now at -2. Regina is brisk at -10. Winnipeg is feeling the cold at -17. Toronto is at +2. And the far east coast of St. John's is -2. As of right now, in Calgary, it is still a little chilly as it is -2 outside. However, the high today is +2 with a 40% chance of snow. Don't worry though, it won't be sticking around for long as the week is warming up. The 3-day Calgary forecast is looking at tomorrow being sunny with a high of +3 and a low of -11, with Sunday expecting to be clear and sunny as we will be looking at a high of +3 with a low of -8. That is your national and 3-day Calgary weather forecast. Back to you, Sareva and Jasmine.
And that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Jasmine Vicurious.
And I'm Sareva Alieva for CMRU.ca News.